I promised this early in the week. I said I was going to make Doc review Superman Son of Kal-El number 10, the issue where he comes out to his mommy about his relationship with Jay Nakamura. But I could not only just subject him to something that bad, I had to give him a double dose of terrible comic books. We're also going to do Captain Carter number 2. I hate these what-if comics, but Doc hates them more. I'm trying to run him out of the hobby he's loved his entire life. Doc, how are you holding up?
You keep giving me these comics with fake heroes in them. Like heroes that just aren't real. This is we're at the, hey, what if this happened? And then the reality is always disappointing from what our imagination tells us it might have been.
I imagine most of the people that have been waiting for this big reveal of Jon Kent's relationship and his status sexuality-wise to his mother are going to be really disappointed with Superman Son of Kal-El number 10. It kind of goes out with a whimper. This is written by Tom Taylor, art by Cian Torby. Felt like it was supposed to be a big moment. And then, she says, I want to see you in the other room, John, because I caught you holding hands with the boy. And then she just gives him the big hug and says, I love everything about you. And that's it.
It's literally the only possible thing that you could do.
Well, they could have at least let him tell her. Or maybe she could be like, well, John, you were only 10 years old like 9 months ago. Are you sure you're ready for this? Nope, just a big old hug, and that's the moment, and that's it. There's nothing, no talking or whatever.
Well, that plus the fact that he looks like a completely different person now, looks like a big-eyed, soy-mouthed anime character. The only thing they're missing is some fucking, like, putting stars for eyes every time he looks at his pink kryptonite-haired friend. This was the only possible thing. Nothing but unconditional approval from Lois Lane.
I just think it could have been handled better. They could have made it a little bit more impactful. This is like, okay. But that's not even the worst thing about this comic book. Why are we even talking about this, though? It's like, hey, they didn't give a shit. They didn't even put really any emphasis on it in the story. What the big part about this is Lex Luthor is going to come out to the people, and he's going to expose Jon Kent as the murderer. He really, well, maybe he's not, but he certainly could have stopped that guy from dying. And they make Lex Luthor look like a complete buffoon, Doc. One of the reasons Lex Luthor works as a great villain or a foil for not only Clark Kent Superman, but Lois Lane is because he's so devious and he's so smart. There's a reason people would follow him and believe him, even though Superman and Lois are telling the truth. And the people are made to choose because they can't outsmart him. They can't really expose him, and he never exposes himself. So you either have to believe the good guys who are out there saving people, or you have to believe the rich guy who's saying what you want to hear. And here they just make him a complete idiot, just like when they played what was it, chess the last time. This time Lois goes up there and she's like, I've got the golden lasso. Well, she doesn't even say it. My son saw a device in that man's head that blew up, and I've got a witness that saw it as well. Are you telling me Lex Luthor wouldn't realize that there's no way Nightwing saw that there was a device in his head? He doesn't have X-ray vision.
My response would have been, Nightwing doesn't have X-ray vision, you dumb broad. What the hell? Like, Lex Luthor is smart enough to get away with this. The problem is Tom Taylor turned Lex Luthor into fucking Mr. Burns. Lois Lane is not smart enough. As smart as she is, as intrepid of a reporter as she is not going to outsmart Lex Luthor in that situation like 3 times. Outsmarted him with the lasso of truth that was just it's just a rope that I bought that I spray painted gold. It's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing because Lex Luthor is a diabolical mastermind, evil genius. And to neuter the character like this just to get over Lois Lane, they're not even getting over Jon Kent at this point. It's his mommy's story here. She's the hero in the book, and it's just laughable. This comic hasn't been out a year. We're not even through 12 issues, and you got his mommy saving him left and right, and he's just a background prop in his own story.
Because Tom Taylor isn't interested in writing Superman. He's interested in writing a Jay Nakamura and Lois Lane comic. But the problem is exactly 0 people would buy a Jay Nakamura fucking comic. And we already have a sales history on Lois Lane. So he's not interested in writing a Superman comic. He's only writing about Lois. He's only writing about Jay Nakamura. Exactly nobody give any fucks about these characters enough to buy their own series. So all it is just more bullshit coattail riding in order to write about the shit that he actually wants to write about.
Yeah, in 12 months when this comic book is canceled, it was not going to be worth destroying Lex Luthor and the problem that he represents in the DC universe for the sake of making Lois look big in front of her son. It's just a complete waste and misuse of a fantastic character, the greatest villain perhaps in the history of DC Comics.
Yeah, exactly. Lex is a imposing threat, and you've turned him into a joke to try to get over a couple of characters that nobody is going to buy. Good job, I guess. Except for at the end, at least we get Batman coming in and being like, you people are all fucking stupid.
It was another thing. Batman sneaks up on him. He goes, I don't understand how I couldn't hear you. Well, yeah, no one else does either. And Lois is like, well, he's Batman. He's like, get out of here. He has superhuman hearing. He would hear Batman coming in. Yeah, exactly. It's one thing for him to sneak off on Gordon or whatever, but to sneak up on a Superman-like character is like, no.
Yeah, there's been a long-standing joke that Batman thinks he's fucking sneaky, even around Clark, and Clark's like, yeah, I just let him do it. It's fine. At least Batman's the only one that's, hey, obvious villain guy is a villain.
Tom Taylor has already said that he is not going to be a villain. They just mentioned that they have implants in their heads of their own, so he knows there's something to do with Bendix about him, but they have to save him. There's no way Jay Nakamura, the first love, according to Tom Taylor, because we're going to forget about Saturn Girl and that little girl that Jon Kent met when he was a little kid. Those don't exist. It's all about Jay Nakamura. There's no way he's going to end up being the villain. This is what we call a red herring, Todd.
Oh, I understand that. And Tom Taylor isn't going to do it, but somebody that's actually a competent writer will come in and fix this at some point, and Jay Nakamura will be outed as a villain, because obvious villain is obviously a villain.
We shall see. There was another really bad comic book this week from Marvel. I don't think it's as bad as Superman Son of Kal-El, but
I think Captain Carter.
You think it's worse? All right.
I think it's worse.
Captain Carter #2, Jamie McKelvey, Marika Cresta. It certainly has worse art. There's no denying that. This is the most basic bitch art that you'll ever read in your life or ever see in your life. There was almost no effort whatsoever put into this comic book.
Well, this is typical Jamie McKelvey Fantagraphics level work. I mean, first you have the obvious part of the Captain Carter that exactly nobody gives a shit about. It's another alternate universe fucking variant cover what if character that they decided to try to make a series out of in her own little pocket universe. She has her trusty sidekick, Psylocke, but still British Psylocke. The obvious disappointment of, hey, look, it's Captain America being not Captain America, being ultra fucking naive. So we had to get our big long lesson.
We got a nice big lecture, yes.
We got a nice big long lecture by the wonderful soulful saint black woman that just kind of comes out of fucking nowhere. Now, granted, maybe she was in the first issue. I don't know. But she needed to come in and lecture us on colonialism. And that was after we already got the lecture, the sideways lecture on Brexit.
Yeah, it's some female liberal arts college lecture that you would get. And if you didn't spew this verbatim, you wouldn't get a passing grade. And so she's walking through this hallway, this lady Harley, she's like, hey, Harley, how you doing? And she won't speak to her. She's like, what did I do? She's like, those refugees you saved last night are getting sent back. You know what you did. She's like, you don't know what you did. She just like lambastes her and treats her like the dumbest piece of shit in the history of the world. And then she never defends herself, right? Because if you're a hero and somebody, if a minority or something is talking down to you and putting you in your place, you accept it. You eat that shit like you want some more. She just eats it, looks like the most incompetent dumbass hero that has no idea what's going on in the world, and the explanation of refugees and asylum was way off base. Jamie McKelvey is a fucking I'll tell you that. And then so she goes in and she challenges the prime minister, and now she has a set of balls. And then she's like, you won't use me for propaganda. I was like, my goodness, the irony is lost on this motherfucker. Like, this dude doesn't realize all the stuff that he just did for 4 fucking pages or longer. It's like he's spewing all this propaganda on people, telling them, this is how you should feel. And then we get the line out of Captain Carter, you can't use me as propaganda. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The writer just did.
Yes, exactly. The writer is using this character as nothing but fucking propaganda. Jamie, go back to Fantagraphics. Go do whatever the shit you do with your Z-list, nobody gives a fuck, indie comic bullshit, and get the fuck away from Marvel, you clown.
Well, if he's going to do a comic book, at least it'll be Captain Carter. No one actually wants to read this bullshit. And if they do, they know it's not going to be good.
No, it's definitely not going to be good.
Do you think it's worse than Superman Son of Kal-El?
I do. I mean, as much as now, Superman Son of Kal-El is more. She
saved some people in the beginning, even if she's sending them back to their doom.
Well, this was you also had the obligatory Jamie McKelvey making a commentary on Steve Rogers in there, kind of in that Batroc versus Captain Carter fight. It was a replay of the one from the beginning of Winter Soldier. Cap drops his shield and takes off his helmet and fought Batroc like straight up.
And this was,
yeah, I know. And then this was Captain Carter doing the exact same thing, but smarter, and then tricking Batroc by going to lay the shield down, but accidentally like whipping it down, but it's actually bouncing around and hits him in the back of the head because, she's smarter.
Of course she is. She's a better fighter. She's more strategic. She's a better hero than Steve Rogers ever was. And I guarantee you a vast majority of people at Marvel believe that. And that's a huge problem with Marvel. And that's why we're getting crap like Captain Carter #2. The first issue wasn't nearly this bad, but this thing is absolute garbage. But hey, Superman Son of Kal-El #10 was also garbage, Doc.
Yep. Superman Son of Kal-El, worst overall damage and it was, it has the problem of it's actually in a real universe. At least Captain Carter is over in some fucking useless pocket universe because that's the only thing Jamie McKelvey belongs on.
I imagine most of you are aware of the Tom Taylor Superman Son of Kal-El controversies, and he was out there dissing fans. Like, what are you talking about? The sales aren't bad. Well, the sales did get bad, and they are very bad. If you don't know the whole story, definitely check this out, and I'll tell you about Tom Taylor and his controversies with the Superman sales and how upset he is about it and how he's lashing out at the fans for it.